What is a mesothelioma lawsuit? A mesothelioma lawsuit is a legal case filed by individuals or their families seeking compensation for mesothelioma, a cancer caused by asbestos exposure. Can I file a mesothelioma lawsuit if I have been diagnosed with the disease? Yes. You can file a mesothelioma lawsuit if you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma due to asbestos exposure. Why is asbestos exposure linked to mesothelioma? Asbestos exposure is a known cause of mesothelioma, a rare cancer that develops in the lining of the lungs, abdomen, or heart due to inhaling asbestos fibers. How can a mesothelioma lawsuit help me or my family? A mesothelioma lawsuit can help you seek compensation for medical expenses, lost wages, pain, and suffering caused by asbestos exposure. What should I do if I believe my mesothelioma was caused by asbestos exposure? Consult an attorney experienced in mesothelioma cases to evaluate your situation and determine if filing a lawsuit is appropriate. How long do I have to file a mesothelioma lawsuit? The statute of limitations varies by state, but it's essential to consult an attorney promptly to understand the deadline in your case. Can I still file a mesothelioma lawsuit if the company responsible for asbestos exposure has gone out of business? Yes, you may still be able to file a lawsuit, as there are mesothelioma trust funds set up by bankrupt companies to compensate victims. Do I need to have direct proof of asbestos exposure to file a lawsuit? Having direct proof of exposure can strengthen your case, but an experienced attorney can help gather evidence even if it's not direct. What compensation can I expect from a mesothelioma lawsuit? Compensation varies based on factors like the severity of your illness, medical expenses, lost wages, and the responsible party's financial resources. Can family members file a mesothelioma lawsuit if their loved one has passed away from the disease? Yes. Surviving family members can often file a wrongful death lawsuit on behalf of the deceased mesothelioma victim. How can an attorney help with my mesothelioma lawsuit? An attorney can assess your case, gather evidence, identify responsible parties, negotiate settlements, or represent you in court if necessary. Will I have to go to court for a mesothelioma lawsuit? Not always. Many mesothelioma cases are settled outside of court, but an attorney can guide you through the process, including trial if needed. Can a mesothelioma lawsuit cover future medical expenses? Yes, a lawsuit can seek compensation for future medical expenses related to mesothelioma treatment. How long does it take to resolve a mesothelioma lawsuit? The duration varies, but it may take months to years, depending on the complexity of the case and whether it goes to trial. Can I file a mesothelioma lawsuit if I was exposed to asbestos while serving in the military? Yes, veterans exposed to asbestos during military service can file lawsuits and may also be eligible for VA benefits. Can I file a mesothelioma lawsuit if I was exposed to asbestos at work? Yes, if you were exposed to asbestos in the workplace and developed mesothelioma, you may have a valid lawsuit. Are there any upfront costs for filing a mesothelioma lawsuit? Many attorneys work on a contingency fee basis, meaning there are no upfront costs, and they only get paid if you win a settlement or verdict. What should I look for in a mesothelioma attorney? Look for experience in asbestos-related cases, a track record of success, and a compassionate approach to handling your case. Can I file a mesothelioma lawsuit on behalf of a deceased family member? Yes, you can often file a wrongful death lawsuit on behalf of a family member who has passed away from mesothelioma. Can I file a mesothelioma lawsuit if I was exposed to asbestos decades ago? Yes, even if the exposure occurred decades ago, you can still file a lawsuit as long as you meet the statute of limitations. What evidence is needed for a successful mesothelioma lawsuit? Evidence of asbestos exposure, medical records, documentation of your diagnosis, and a connection between the exposure and your illness. Can I file a mesothelioma lawsuit against multiple companies? Yes, if you were exposed to asbestos from multiple sources, you can file a lawsuit against all responsible parties. Can a mesothelioma lawsuit be filed on behalf of a living patient? Yes, living patients can file personal injury lawsuits seeking compensation for their mesothelioma. Can I file a mesothelioma lawsuit if I was exposed to asbestos in my home? Yes, if you were exposed to asbestos in a residential setting, you may be eligible to file a lawsuit. Can I file a mesothelioma lawsuit if I was exposed to asbestos through a family member's work clothing? Yes. Secondary exposure cases where family members were exposed to asbestos fibers brought home from work can be the basis for a lawsuit. Can I file a mesothelioma lawsuit if the asbestos exposure occurred in a different state? Yes. You can often file a lawsuit in the state where the responsible parties are located or where they conducted business. What should I expect during the initial consultation with a mesothelioma attorney? During the consultation, you'll discuss your case, provide information, and the attorney will assess the viability of your claim. Can a mesothelioma lawsuit cover lost wages and future earning potential? Yes. Lost wages and the potential impact on your future earning capacity are factors that can be considered in seeking compensation. Can I file a mesothelioma lawsuit if I don't know where my asbestos exposure occurred? An experienced attorney can help investigate and determine the source of your asbestos exposure, even if you're not sure. Can I file a mesothelioma lawsuit if I smoked in addition to asbestos exposure? Yes. You can still file a lawsuit, but it's essential to discuss your specific situation with an attorney. Can I file a mesothelioma lawsuit if I signed a release form for asbestos exposure? The legality of release forms depends on the circumstances. An attorney can review the details to determine if you have a valid claim. Can I file a mesothelioma lawsuit if I was exposed to asbestos while renovating a building? Yes. If you were exposed to asbestos during renovation or construction activities, you may have a valid lawsuit. Can a mesothelioma lawsuit cover pain and suffering? Yes. Pain and suffering are common elements sought in mesothelioma lawsuits. Can I file a mesothelioma lawsuit if I was exposed to asbestos through consumer products? Yes. If you were exposed to asbestos through consumer products and developed mesothelioma, you may have a valid claim.